I would like to read a letter that I have to submit to the board. You'll have to excuse me, I've been running home. It's been brought to my attention that certain candidates who are running for a position with the Board of Supervisors feel that they are subject to unfair competition because three other candidates, namely Kathy Mazzaferro, Sarah Lunsford, and Ron Klass, all have regular TV shows that offer them more exposure than the competing candidates. It has been suggested that their shows be canceled until after the election. I've consulted with the legal firm, the bos31108 Group, which specializes in the law of public access television facilities. They made it very clear to me that public access TV follows a different set of regulations than conventional television stations. It is forbidden to restrict access to public access TV. Therefore, I would be in violation of the law if I remove the existing programs for the reasons stated above. However, any candidate may submit a half-hour program, and I am obliged to play it on television. I appreciate and recognize the fact that certain candidates have expressed the need for fair and balanced exposure on television. However, the three programs, Kathy's Window on Calaveras, on the channel for 5 years, Inside View on our channel for 2.5 years, and Ron and John's show on our channel since before 2001, are all non-political. Note, not one of these members have mentioned her candidacy on the programs. While the candidates who may present me with their programs have the right to choose whatever theme they wish, would they be willing, in the spirit of fair play, to choose non-political topics as presented in the above programs? In order to provide equal political coverage to all candidates, I've arranged to televise a special series of interviews between now and Election Day, and each candidate will be interviewed for a half hour by Mike Taylor, who is an employee of the Calaveras Enterprise newspaper. The program will be aired once each day for 7 consecutive days. I feel that this is the fairest and most balanced way of introducing the candidates to our Calaveras residents. Sincerely, Ed Mark. I'd like to give each of you a copy.
Thank you.
Rob,
already have it?
Okay.
What's your telephone number?
754-4021.
For half an hour by Mike Taylor, and it should be really political, correct?
That's correct.
So the candidates who do have shows will also be able to be interviewed by Mike Taylor, making it political. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so then you have those that have shows. Are any of them named Fred Thompson?
I'm sorry.
No, I thought we could just do a law and order kind of scenario
Sure.
in the interest of fair play, either whether it's legal or just sort of morally doing something that's correct. But I just wanted to clarify that all candidates can be interviewed politically by Mike Taylor. That's the protocol you're going to set up. And the shows that are being done by candidates are going to remain.
Remain non-political. That's the law. Now, I can expound a little bit on that, is that any one of the candidates who wish to start a series of programs that are non-political in line with the other, I would be delighted to help them get started. We're always interested in having more people beginning a series of programs. So if they wish to do that and they have a topic or a series of topics that they would like to cover that's non-political, that's wonderful. They can get all kinds of exposure that way. Furthermore, Mr. Seaton, I believe, is on the Angels Camp City Council, and he gets exposure every time they videotape it, which we do videotape it regularly.
And as we're doing now for the Board of Supervisors.
Yes, yes. So what I want to say is that the ones who are competing or who are candidates certainly have the right to do exactly the same thing that the other three candidates have been doing for some period of time. And also, if they wish, they can submit to me a tape or program that is political, and I'm obliged to put it on the air, but I'm not going to initiate a political kind of a thing because it would show favoritism. I wouldn't do that. But I can put it on the air for it.
Russ, do you have a comment?
Well, yeah, just to be completely politically correct, I think that you should also not limit your interviewer to Mike Taylor with the Enterprise, maybe PineTree.net, or have a chance to interview Valley Springs News and Union Democrat, spread it around.
Well, if they wish to have interviews with the others, that's up to them. But we want to be balanced.
I have a couple of questions and comments as well. This is unprecedented, as you know, and it does raise issues that I think have legal implications, and I know you've investigated and reviewed that, but also I think policy implications. There is a desire, I'm sure, on the part of this board and your group to make sure that we have a level playing field for the exercise of democratic process in this county. I have a couple of concerns about this. In a small county where name recognition and exposure actually does translate into political advantage, it's important that public organizations make sure that that's not, that we have both the legal and the perception of fairness. While you have answered in your letter that there's no legal obligation such as the previously referenced Law and Order case, which took that off the air during the presidential run, I think it's important that we try to develop a fair-minded policy on this that is not exclusively legal in nature, but also ethical, moral, and fair. So with that in mind, I think the PEG board is the group that is advisory to this. And I wonder whether they've had an opportunity to review the situation and make some recommendations. Is something that's in the works, or are you, as the manager of this, going to determine the policy?
The PEG board doesn't meet until sometime in April, and so there has been no chance. And I didn't want to bring this up with you, but the one PEG member violated the Brown Act in what she did, and so we have to bring that to her attention. So we will be having a meeting at that time, but I must follow the rules that are set down, the law that's set down by the people of the PEG Commission, whether it's the government. The other thing too is that we like to think that there's fair and balance in all candidates, but for example, there may be one candidate who can spend $10,000 on signs around the community, and another one who can only afford a couple $100. Is that person who can only afford less, accusing the other of not being fair and balanced? So there is some inequity, and the mere fact that these people have been having a program for several years. At that time, we certainly had no idea in their mind that they were going to run for the board. And so they chose at this particular time to do that. They shouldn't be penalized.
I could imagine that there are all kinds of artistic resolutions to this that would not require anybody to be penalized, but I am interested in a policy that is fair, equitable, and perceived as such not only by the participants in an election, but by their constituents as well. I've already received at least 8 calls on this, and I'm sure that there's strong feelings on a wide range of positions positions in relation to it. And when I get that kind of feedback, what I'm interested in is not either a political or even exclusively legal response, but a carefully constructed policy response, which I'm looking for at this point. That's about all the comment I have, but I'm hoping that this can be reviewed by the people who we've appointed on a commission that should be actively reviewing a circumstance such as that which is before us today.
Ed, I agree with Steve's comments, and I noticed in your letter, you basically say you're going to be reviewing the content of the programs before they're played, and so, as long as they're not blatantly partisan, then I don't have a problem, and, every candidate can come in and do their half-hour interview with the interviewee or whatever of their choice, the interviewer of their choice, and that's fine.
I'm not allowed to, if I review something, it's just strictly to see whether the audio is there, but I'm not allowed to make any judgment. It's against the law. I have to put it on.
Well, maybe we can depend on the media then to be the monitor. They may comment on it.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there other comments or items from the public?
Good morning. My name's Bonnie Newman. And I'm afraid I have some bad news. Maybe it's only bad news to me, but it's bad news. I was the sole member participant on the negotiating team for SEIU UHW this past year. Our contract ran out in March of '07. When we approached the county to renegotiate a new contract, we were asked to postpone it until the budget was finalized and you had a better idea of what the financial situation was. We were then asked to postpone it a little while longer, and now an entire year has gone by without a new contract. And I think I just found out that one of the clauses in the contract that we finalized and ratified is not legal, and that includes the retroactive pay that we were expecting for not completing the contract earlier. And I'm really at a loss. Does that mean we do not have a legal contract and there is no contract? We have to go back to square one and start negotiating again? And if that's so, then we've lost over a year of any benefits that we could have accumulated, and I don't know where to start, because I'm not on the negotiating team anymore because we finalized it. So I'm just a person talking about the healthcare workers, and it's a body of 200 employees that are working hard every day and have finally found ourselves at an impasse. I didn't just come to complain, I also have an idea. If indeed there is no contract and we have to go back to square one and start negotiations again, I think you could probably put me and Francine in a room and nail the door shut, and in an hour we'd come out with something that was reasonable and was responsible and respectful to everybody involved. But does anybody have any ideas? One of the problems that I have is I allowed my membership to call me, and I have been reassuring them, yes, we do have a raise, there will be a paycheck, we will have, and I've probably talked to 100 people, and now I've got to wait for them all to call back and call me a liar.
Well, I'm hoping we can clarify the situation, and here's our HR director, who I hope can shed some light on the
Get us in
topic.
a room together, we'll work it out, I'm telling you.
Actually, as you know, there's some language in the the retroactivity that was agreed to. We discussed that. Right now, Bill Avery has been trying to get a hold of SEIU representatives. We do not have to start all over again. We just need to work through that one issue. And so we are in the process of doing that. The positive thing is we did get actually official notification from the state in writing. If the retro gets taken out, then they have approved all of the other terms. So we just need to come to some agreements on that one item. And so it's just a matter of getting the representatives from SEIU who were new coming in this term back to the county. We may be able to do it over the phone, but they are valid concerns. But I think it's something we can easily resolve. And we're in the process. We just can't force anyone to get to the table at this point. We're just waiting.
Maybe I could encourage Ms. Newman to ask her organization to phone home, and we'll get this going.
And we talked Friday, and that's why she's aware of the issues when she came to visit me. Between her and myself, we should be able to get some pressure to get it moving.
All right, thank you. Are there other items from the public? Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Ron Klass, resident of Delaware County, and I just wanted to address what public access TV is involved with. I'm half of the Ron John Show. Ed Lark, who obviously does a fabulous job. The talent and experience he has is a really credit to our community to have this guy. I do want to thank Rita for putting me in the same line with Fred Thompson. He's running for president of the United States, or was, and I'm running for the district supervisor, so I think we're probably on the same level. So I appreciate that very much.
Actually,
I think we have about 300 viewers, and I think Law and Order has something like about 11 million. So again, we're kind of right there. So I, again, appreciate that very much. We do not speak on local politics on our show, Ron and John. Actually, Ed Lark called our show hilariously irrelevant, and I think he kind of nailed it to the point. We talk about all kinds of local things and international things, from supercilious Britney Spears all the way down to what we have to talk about, we're just doing to put a smile on people's face and kind of enjoy the community of Calaveras County. So we mean no harm. On our shows previous to today, we did not discuss, and we have not discussed what's going on in Calaveras County in relationship to whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I think public access TV is a blessing for this community as well as just Ed Lark. And as far as my exposure on the show, I think if I was a cashier at Rite Aid, I would probably get more exposure on a day-to-day basis on my TV program. So I sincerely appreciate this coming to the board. I think you have a lot more important things to talk about than Ron and John's show, or Sarah's show, or Kathy's show. But I sincerely hope you take into consideration that this is a public access, and we mean no harm. We just mean more and try to have a good time. Thank you.
thank you.
Good morning, I'm Don Bose. I'm bringing you some delectable array of daffodils this morning. Sit around the table. I'm representing this morning the Northern California Daffodil Society. Murphy's is one of 3 locations of the Daffodil Society in Northern California. Annually has a daffodil show. It's this weekend at Ironstone. It's simultaneous with Murphy's Irish Days, and there's a shuttle bus provided. I believe it's county sponsored for free parking at Ironstone and shuttle down to downtown and back. You can come back and see the daffodil show. There's often as many as 1,000 entrants of blooms such as these. Daffodils aren't just yellow anymore. But still, the Northern California Daffodil Society is trying to bring the gold back into the gold country. Given that we have this show each year, it's one of 3 in California. Then when Livermore California as a daffodil region of the United States, but it's soon to be recognized. Calaveras County and Murphy's will be recognized as one of the top hot spots for daffodils in the world. It's really why I want to present to you tonight the fact that in 2010, the American Daffodil Society will be holding their convention in Murphy's at Ironstone Winery for 3 days, the second weekend of March in 2010. This will be bringing people from the major regions of daffodil hybridization and growing throughout the world. There will be as many as 20 or 30 people from Australia, perhaps 20 or more from New Zealand, 10 or 12 from Tasmania, and maybe a couple dozen from the UK, Ireland, and England. At that event, which would be 3 days, will be meetings and, again, shows with daffodils like these and many exotics. One of the key things is that there will be daffodils shown at that show, and even this year's show next week, or this weekend, possibly with daffodils that will be seen for the first time. They're continually being hybridized. As you can see, they're no longer just yellow anymore. There's pinks and oranges and even greens, yellows and greens. We're urging that the community get behind this whole thing. I'll be doing what I can with the Daffodil Society to hopefully organize various groups to gold up the countryside with daffodils, etc. We're having, we have a logo design which is going on many shirts. This has already been down under. It's been to New Zealand and Australia, and those people are quite excited to come to Murphy's in Calaveras County. We're hoping also to have the high schools involved in competition in growing daffodils and competition in our annual event, hopefully starting next year. By the way, these are being made in Murphy's. We're trying to keep as much business for this event local as possible. Already, most of the available rooms and hotels have been booked for that weekend, and we're also going up into the community to the weekend rental cottages. So enjoy the daffodils today, the fragrances. Some of them are more so than others. And join us this weekend, and keep in mind that we'll be golding up the area for the next several years. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was the PG&E manager in Fortuna. I never knew it was a daffodil center. I always thought it was rhododendrons. So
Well, they do quite a show up there, and it'll be 2 weeks. It's a 2-week jump up there. Then in Oregon, it'll be another 2 weeks. There's a community in Oregon, Amity, Oregon, just south of Lake Oswego, that the whole town we'd like to have Murphy's become. The grade schools, the high schools, everything, they're all involved in this festival. And there's projects, there's writing. We have a great photography contest going on each year. They have photography, they have writing, essays from the children. The schools are all decorated with daffodils. It's incredible. Amity, Oregon.
Thank you. Actually, those traveling around Calaveras County this month can see the place just lit up. There are thousands planted all over the county. I think it's one of our most beautiful assets, and I know people come from far away just to view the Daffodil Hill over in Amarillo County, the bike path in Mountain Ranch, the Murphy's thing. There's thousands that we've planted just in District 2, 8,000 over the last 2 years, and that's a project that's going to be ongoing. Just makes you happy to see. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Are there any other items from the public?
My name is Glenn Noe, and I'm an energy consultant and a member of the Calaveras County Coalition. And I understand today's the last day to make a comment on baseline report. I prepared a written statement. My comment in regards to the baseline report is that it does note global warming. Many people were grateful for this inclusion. That said, I know that some of you on the board and in this community are skeptical about global warming and man's involvement in it. issue today. Regardless on your views of global warming, I would like to propose that our general plan address it either in a separate element or a single element for the following reasons. One, California Attorney General has stated that he